Welcome to As You Wish Publishing Podcast. This is episode 4, and we are continuing our conversation on the models and pillars of publishing and getting your book out there into the world, and what might be the best process for you to do that. And everybody's different, and we're kind of giving you the lowdown on what works, what doesn't, and what can help you make your book publishing possibilities, your dreams come true. So Todd's with me, and we're talking specifically around this awesome blog post that he did recently that really speaks to those models. And we've been deep diving on these episodes. So Todd, what's next in the lineup for the different models that we are helping people understand about?
Well, Kyra, I am where we left off was the third of the primary pillars. Third of the fourth primary pillars. How many of the primary pillars did Peter Piper pick? So we got.
we are on a roll.
Yeah, we've had our coffee. We're on a roll.
Yeah.
So we had we already talked about in the first episode. We did an overview of them all really fast. Yeah, and then we did traditional publishing, and then we did hybrid publishing, and then today we're doing a quick episode on DIY or fully independent publishing. DIY, you probably know the term, do-it-yourself publishing, refers to authors managing production and distribution directly, typically through retail and print-on-demand platforms. So the author operates as the publisher, opening and controlling their own distribution accounts. All right. So this is going to be quick and easy. It's all pretty straightforward. With power in a fully independent model, when you are the author and the publisher, you are self-publishing by yourself, nobody else involved. The decision authority rests entirely with you, the author. You select if you choose to use third parties to help you, you would choose editors or copy editors, designer, the platform you want to publish to, your own pricing, formatting your own book, and releasing your own book. There's no acquisitions gate. There's no publishing company retaining any decision rights unless you hire a specific service provider. We're assuming you won't do that. We're assuming you're doing it all yourself. So because authority is centralized with you, the author, all the strategic and operational decisions are going to remain internal with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, if you're already feeling overwhelmed by what was just said, actually just go ahead and start doing a book on your own. And that overwhelm is going to pile on massively.
Pile on. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't bother pursuing DIY self-publishing unless you are extremely technically savvy. Not just, I think I can do this, which you can certainly try. And I encourage you if you want to.
Yes.
But it is very technical. And you won't find it so much in the gathering your materials together and uploading them and things like that. You'll find it in the approval process. You'll find it in the technical requirements, compliance parts of the process. That's where people get hung up, getting rejected, not being compliant, having to fix it, having to get a hold of people to talk to about fixing it. All that stuff, and I am just skimming the surface here, all that stuff takes a lot of bandwidth. And it's one of those situations to where unless you know how to do this stuff, and it took us a year to learn how to do it back in the day.
Yeah, and that was just to kind of get an okay book out.
That was to get an okay book out, right? Not doing it your 10th time or your 100th time when you can really do it professionally, not just get through it once and then have an okay looking book,
right?
So there's a lot that can go wrong, and as of 2026, a lot of DIY platforms are making it. They're not trying to make it harder per se. They are just making it less forgiving for people who do it wrong, probably to protect their own bandwidth and their own time and money. Not that they're trying to make it harder for you, but the potential penalties and ramifications of doing it wrong can be harder. It's like less forgiving in that regard.
It is. And the reason why is because, first of all, with the rise of AI, There's been a lot of pirating.
That is definitely one of the reasons they've clamped down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're like, we need to verify your driver's license, your ID, like your whole thing, like
Yeah.
all of your tax information has got to be spot on, like everything has to be correct, or they will just shut your thing down. Their algorithm will just shut your account down. And so you
Right.
want to make sure that you're completely compliant. Now that's KDP. Ingram Spark can be the same way, but it is a little bit more, I guess, forgiving. But I think the main thing is, and what we're trying to convey here, is that there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to doing it yourself. And even though you absolutely can, what I said in kind of the first episode was, having someone taking a look at it from the outside, not your best friend who wants you to feel good about everything and thinks you're amazing and beautiful and wonderful, but to have an objective outside viewer to say, hey, you know what? These colors are not going to translate to this, or you know what? That font is an exact competition to every single thing that you've got on your page, or you have 15 fonts on your
Right.
book cover, and that's not going to work.
Right.
If you don't have somebody kind of on the outside looking in saying, have you thought of this? You're kind of doing your book and your message and that expert status that you've worked really hard to help people understand that you're the one that they need to go to if you have a small business or you're a coach or you're a professional, that they can look at a book that, because it's not your field, it's not your expertise, it's not the thing you've studied your entire life to do, it's that thing that has been a passion project for you, and you're like, but nobody's taking it seriously because it doesn't follow the general rules of exceptionally good publishing. So you might be missing an opportunity there, or do it too quickly, or put it out too quickly. But we also know that your first book is going to almost always be for you.
Right.
So really kind of connecting those dots for yourself in this process. But again, you can learn it. You can do it relatively well, especially if you have a design background, or you have some really good tools. And just know that if it doesn't give you the result that you're actually looking for the first time around, it doesn't mean you really did anything wrong. It just means that this is not the thing that really, really well, and that's okay.
Right. Just because this, please take this the right way. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Right.
Here's a great example, because I don't mean to give offense. Just because you can sing doesn't necessarily mean you're going to sound like Whitney Houston the first time you try to sing, right? It usually takes years of practice and conditioning.
What? I don't know about that. I think I'm going to push back on that, Todd.
Delusion's a hell of a thing.
It really
Kyra actually is a great singer.
Oh boy.
So trying to get through something technical the first time, if you can do it, fantastic, right? That's a step. Is it going to look good or sound good or whatever? It may not look as professional as you want, because there's a lot of pieces of those individualized processes. It's not just about getting over the compliance hurdle. It's about doing it in a way that looks professional.
Right.
And if you can get through the finish line after you've bumped the side rails a bit, and you got one tire that's popped in the back and it's throwing sparks, you might cross the finish line, but you might be in shambles by the time you do it, because whoa, right, that was my first race. Or maybe you try to run a 5K with other people who have been training for months, and this is the first time you decided to run. You're going to be huffing and puffing a little bit because you didn't know how to prepare for it.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that people experience with DIY. Even if they can get through the technical requirements, because they don't know formatting, which is a beast in itself,
right,
or design or font selection, and let's really make this brass tacks. Some people just think that what they have looks good, and it doesn't look all that good. And that's not a judgment. It's more of an industry standard. And we allow people to do whatever design they want. We don't force anything on them. If they publish with us, they can choose the design, or and then we'll create it, or We'll create it for them based off of some information they provide. But I wouldn't expect anybody to just go out there and do it themselves, and unless they know
and get it absolutely right
and
the
get it
first time.
absolutely right the first time. Thank you.
And that's okay. If you plan on being like, well, you know what, I got a mindset of, I'm just getting this thing out there. I don't care what it looks like. It doesn't matter. I know that the content is really good. I know I can still sell the book because I'm going to be handing them out individually, and that feels right to me. And I know I'm going to probably do 15 or 16 books. Go for it.
Right.
Just play with it, see what happens.
Right. Right. Know your lane kind of thing.
Yeah.
Know why you're doing it before you do it. That helps.
Yes.
And know where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are, and where you might want to hire out if you're really going to go that route.
Right.
Okay. I think I did power. Yes. Risk, financial risk is fully assumed by the author. Production costs, freelance services, if you use any, advertising, if you choose to promote your own book, and distribution expenses are self-funded. There is no institutional capital backing the project. It's all you. The only time you pay for anything is if you have anybody help you do anything for your book as a sort of a subcontractor. Because the author controls distribution directly, they bear the responsibility for any operational errors, platform disputes, or account restrictions if issues arise. On that note, if you are doing a second edition or a revision or anything of that nature, like you're trying to redo a book you had done in the past and you're trying to DIY it, I highly recommend being extra cautious.
Right.
Because DIY platforms are very, very much sticklers about those revised editions.
Right. And yes,
go ahead,
the metadata, if you don't know what that means, that's
another thing you're gonna have to figure out.
You're gonna have to figure that out. But the back office information about the book that you're publishing has got to reflect that it's a revised edition. So if you forget that piece, right, this is just one tiny element in the thousands of things that you have to know about it. If it's not there, they're going to flag your book and maybe even take it down completely, and maybe even take down your whole account, which I have seen. So that piece there is really important. And if you try to put a book up on a bigger platform, the better the worldwide distribution type platform, or a worldwide distribution type platform like Ingram Spark, if you try to do that and those things are not correct and you don't know, you're not going to understand why that's happening. So those are things that are really important to take note of. So even if you are doing it yourself, please know if there's nuances, you might want to research that. Hey, what are the nuances of things that I need to know when it comes to book publishing?
And just to be clear, if you're doing anything, this might be completely not necessary to say, but I feel like I'm going to say it anyway, just in case.
Get in there, do it.
If you're doing anything DIY or hybrid or traditional or anything like that, we don't answer questions about those things. We are not you know what? They have a great podcast. I think I'll email them and just ask a question about DIY, like we're going to troubleshoot it for you.
Right. Or traditional publishing. And how come the traditional publisher hasn't returned my call?
Yeah.
Well, I think we answered that in podcast 2.
Right.
So please go back to that episode.
What we're doing instead is we're framing different options as objectively as we can, listing the pros and cons from a 30,000 foot view, so that you're not disillusioned. Excuse me. So that you're not disillusioned if you do decide to proceed with anything, pursue anything. So at least you kind of know what category you generally fit in. So you're not under some strange assumptions about what's going to happen if you put yourself into one of these buckets that you really don't intend to be in. So it's kind of like a high level categorization. Which one is me at the 30,000 foot view, so I don't go down this road or fall in love with this name and then find out way later that this is actually not the lane that I want to be in.
Yeah. And that's exactly why we're doing this. Right. Also, too, what we offer, we do think is the best option. So I'll
Sure.
give you a heads up for the next episode to come. But it's because I was a DIYer first.
Mm-hmm.
Todd worked with a hybrid publisher before.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked to people who have had contracts with the traditional publishers and some of the pitfalls they've experienced. So when we're kind of gearing up to that, to our next episode, but there's still some drawbacks there as well. So you got to know that there are things that work well and there are things that don't. And this is really just why we're doing this right now.
It's very much know your lane. Yeah.
Yeah.
And be informed. And if if you're listening to this and it helps you make a more informed decision, whichever method, whichever model of the four that you use, great. You're going to be a little bit more informed. Still, again, I'm going to say it till you're blue in the face. Read everything. And if you're a writer, you really should be reading everything. So,
right.
but
And none of our stuff is gate kept either. So, so if this is something that you're wanting to do, on our website at asyouwishpublishing.com, I think we have some information there that you can learn about how our process works.
Oh, absolutely.
We are completely transparent because, and we mentioned this in the previous episode about Ally. We are in excellent standing with them. They're a vetting company that determines viability of different publishing services, and so they require us to be transparent, completely transparent about pricing, about what we offer, about the things that we do and don't do.
Yep. Definitely. Beware of websites that don't have pricing listed.
And, I don't like that.
I definitely read everything. I'm just going to keep saying it. Read everything. Read everything.
Well, they can't say you didn't say read everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I don't recall him ever saying read everything.
I'm going to make a t-shirt. AYW, read everything.
Yes. I love that.
Financial risk. Did we already say that one? I think I did.
I think you did. Yeah.
I did. Look at that. I thought it was going to be shorter. Control. Control in a DIY model is comprehensive. Author owns and manages distribution accounts directly, retains authority over files, metadata, pricing adjustments. We already said all that. This level of control requires technical coordination, formatting standards, file preparation, metadata accuracy, distribution setup, in compliance with evolving platform guidelines are handled directly by the author. 2025 to 2026 was a major jump in compliance with with DIY platforms.
Yeah. Like in the last 3 months.
3 months, 3 months specifically. It actually helps self-publishing houses like us because DIYers are going to have a tougher time, unfortunately.
It's a shame.
This level of control requires technical coordination. Did I read that already? Formatting standards, file prep. Yes, I did. Yes. Retail platforms maintain technical and content policies, and the author is responsible for meeting those requirements. Upside, financial upside flows directly to the author. This is a win-win if you've gotten this far in DIY. Revenue is paid from the distribution platforms to the author's accounts directly according to the platform terms. Because the author retains full margin participation, long-term upside is directly tied to sales performance and ongoing platform management. So when you DIY self-publish, in other words, it's paid directly to you, directly to your bank account. Win-win. You're not getting a residual cut from whatever a hybrid or a traditional wants first. You're getting paid directly from whatever you own because you own it. It's your copyright. It's your book. You DIY'd it. It's your author account.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you get to pay, generally it's print cost, maybe print cost plus like shipping or handling and that kind of tax for your books. So that's usually set by the distribution company. So you don't get to set that yourself, but you do get to set your retail cost. And so you want to make sure that however much your print cost is, that you are making money from your books if you are buying books in bulk for yourself. So those are kinds of things that are also benefits, is that you get your your wholesale copy pricing, and then you get to retail them for whatever you want. So even if they're on sale with Barnes & Noble or Amazon, they could be $25, but let's say you have a swath of books you want to sell in bulk and you've got them and you're saying, you know what, I'm going to give $5 off and I'm going to do a discount, if they buy them directly from me.
Mhm.
Or you can do signed copies, and then you can actually charge a little bit more and maybe send them some stickers and stuff, which is what which is what I like to do
Yeah.
when we do our signed copies for our
Uh-huh.
books.
That's great. Awesome. Timeline, finally, timelines in DIY publishing are flexible and author driven. Production can move quickly if vendors are coordinated efficiently, if you choose to use them, and files meet technical standards. Delays typically result from revision cycles, formatting corrections, or platform review processes rather than institutional scheduling. So everything, there are a thousand moving pieces, and when you adjust one, it affects all other 999 of those pieces.
That's
So
true.
you adjust one thing, everything else needs adjustment too. It's just the nature of the beast. Everything has to be perfectly coordinated. If you change one thing,
Oh,
it does affect other things,
yeah.
especially if like your page count changes or that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
um, so there's a lot with DIY. If you can do it, I mean, if I would have been a DIYer, I would have preferred to do it any time between, say, 2011
Yeah.
what and 2022 or something like that. I don't
Right.
know.
The
I
heyday
I
of
wouldn't have wanted to do it any time sooner than that
self-publishing. Right.
because they're making it tougher.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot because people are bastardizing AI
Yeah.
and you trying to put out a bunch of junk volume
Yeah.
and to try to make a buck, and I think that's why the constrictions are happening.
Yeah. And then it's already a saturated thing, with millions and millions of titles getting
Right.
published every year.
Yeah.
And they are not substantial at all.
Yeah.
They're not. Some of them are print, some of them are only ebooks or whatever, and they're just uploading whatever they want.
Yeah.
And some of them, a lot of them are getting flagged, and they're getting flagged a lot more because now the algorithm has gotten smart.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that's it.
All
I'm done.
right.
I'm done for DIY.
All right, perfect. All right, we're going to see you in the next episode, and we're going to talk about the thing that we love most, done for you, professional publishing. So we will see you soon, and have a good day. Take care.